Alright guys, I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow your socks off, okay? You guys are not ready for this. I'm about to drop something on you that you guys are going to be completely shocked by. So you guys might want to sit down for a second because this is gonna blow your minds, okay? There are journalists and SJWs that are very upset right now, that are outraged. I know, crazy, right? Something that never happens. This is an unprecedented moment. But here we are with Alice O'Keefe over at The Guardian, writing articles about how women are pretty much, you know, under the oppression of slavery in Hollywood. Oh man. And this article is cringe, okay? Let me just point that out before we start, okay? Just expect lots of cringe because there's a lot of it in this article right here. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into it. The film industry has utterly failed women. Utterly failed women. Utterly, 100%. 100% completely failed women. Already I'm sure you can tell what kind of a joke article this is going to be. I won't put up with it any longer. Wow. So brave of you, Alice. So absolutely brave of you. I'm sick of films dominated by male characters and perspectives. This year I'm changing my cinematic diet. Guys, you might want to grab your Kleenexes for this one because it's gonna get real, okay? Recently, I seem to have developed a sort of allergic reaction to films. The symptoms are as follows. About an hour into watching almost any movie, I find myself contorted with irritation and begin muttering like a mad person. But what about her? What does she have to say? Trying to mutter like a mad person here. After a lifetime of happily sitting through films directed almost exclusively by men, this allergic reaction seems to be telling me I need a more balanced cultural diet. Oh man, having to watch movies directed by men is like, I can't think of anything worse than that. Can you think of anything that is worse, that is more horrific, more damaging to your soul, your mind, your body than watching a movie directed by a man? The horror, the outrage. Admittedly, I have always been more of a book lover, but my husband is a cinema buff. And so every so often he'll try again at converting me. This one is critically acclaimed, he will say. Tipped for an Oscar. I'm sure it will be fine. Just give it a go. Most recently we settled on Marriage Story, the almost universally praised film by Noah Baumbach. I've read a couple of reviews which had assured me that this was an admirably balanced portrait of the disintegration of a relationship. Great. I love relationships. I love disintegration. Surely this would be a safe bet. But it happened. But it happened again. There I was, after precisely an hour, tense in every muscle, shouting at the screen. And up here, she's like talking about how she gets contorted. Like, what? If there's too much male presence on screen, she starts to like contort. A man. Oh man, Alice, what are you might want to like take some chill pills before you start watching movies then. Like this is crazy. Start screaming at the screen and contorting. Sounds like you're demon possessed or something. Jeez. Oh man. Don't get me wrong, Marriage Story is a brilliant film. It's nuanced, it's real, the acting is excellent, and it has some interesting stuff to say about relationships and families and how they can evolve during periods of intense soul-battering conflict. But balanced, pull the other one. In all kinds of subtle and not so subtle ways, Marriage Story only tells half the story. The husband's half. Oh, so bad. So bad. We see Nicole, the wife, refuse to take part in mediation. We see her appoint a rapacious female lawyer. We see her, okay, then they continue on with all this weird stuff. Okay, talking about the film. Meanwhile, we never see and are told a minimal amount about the dynamics that drove Nicole to seek a divorce in the first place. Anyway, so she continues whining about the movie. Perhaps it is unfair to pick on Marriage Story, which does at least try to engage with questions about power and who controls the narrative. Its limitations only bother me because I have reached middle age with a serious deficiency in my cinematic diet. I could probably count on my hands the number of films I've seen that explore women's experiences with anything like this level of nuance and complexity. Whereas I couldn't begin to count the... Okay, Movies from 2019 alone, I could count on one hand. Movies from 2019 alone that had female nuance and complexity, that were told from a female protagonist point of view. Just from last year alone. Like, you're not paying attention then, if this is the type of reaction that you're having. But of course, as we all know, this is just fake outrage. That's all that this is. It is literally nothing else but fake outrage. Anyway, so she continues on whining. Victimization, blah, blah, blah. My allergic reaction is not to any one film, but to an entire creative sector that has so utterly failed not only to admit women as equals and to reflect and represent our experiences, but even on the most basic level of knowledge, to not acknowledge us as human beings with a valid perspective, as the Me Too scandal made abundantly clear. Yeah. The Me Too movement has really worked out in your guys' favor, hasn't it? Like, wow. Yeah, Me Too is so great. People are committing suicide over it. Great job. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Anyway, it's just, it's so bad. It's so cringe. It's so ridiculous. You know, the reason she doesn't want women to be equal, she wants women to have special treatment. And this is literally the case with any of these new age feminists. They aren't looking for equality, okay? Women have achieved equality now with men. But they don't want to stop there. They want to continue to push it further. They want to go past equality into special treatment. And that is what's happening in Hollywood. And that's what's happening with the mainstream media. That's what's happening with these feminists. That's what's happening with SJWs. They don't want equality. They want special treatment. They want to be just given whatever they want without having to work for it. And that's the thing, is that in Hollywood, if you want to get anywhere in Hollywood, you have to work your ass off. You have to work and work and work and work. And sometimes women don't want to do that type of work. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing. You know, that's just the way that things are. And it's getting better. That's the thing, is that everything is getting better in Hollywood. Things are continuing to improve for women in Hollywood. But she won't acknowledge that. Alice O'Keefe is not going to acknowledge that, because that completely destroys the entire narrative that women are still being oppressed in Hollywood. Women are still not getting opportunities, when it's never been better for women. It has literally never been better for women in Hollywood, and not just in Hollywood, but in the culture in general, than it is right now. But these people will never say that. They will never acknowledge that, because then it doesn't give them anything to be outraged about. And that's all that they want. They just want to be outraged. They just want to whine and complain and victimize. Terry Gilliam just talked recently in an article about how there's this whole victim culture going on. And it is 100% true. And we're seeing this over and over again, with people from all sorts of walks of life who are victimizing themselves instead of going out there and going after their goals, going after their dreams and chasing it. It's going to be just as hard for you as it is for anyone else. Okay? And the thing is that if you want to make it to the top, you have to work hard, you have to be determined, and you have to be there for the long haul. But these people don't want that. They just want to sit and cry in their coffee, write retarded articles like this, and complain. It's ridiculous. There's so much hyperbole and exaggeration going on here. It's just insane. Talking about like women never get opportunities, or women are just continuing to be oppressed. Whine, moan. And it's just ridiculous. It's just cringe. And it gets even more cringy, okay? I know, crazy. It gets even more cringy than it is right now, but here we go. So, my resolution this year is to make sure I get a more balanced and nutritious cinematic diet. I mean, I could give you a list of films that came out just last year that had female leads in it, that were directed by women, that were good films. I could give you that list if you want me to. This means actively seeking out films by female writers and directors. Did you, by any chance, support Charlie's Angels? Or, you know, Terminator Dark Fate, or Black Christmas? Those were all feminist movies that came out at the beginning of last year. Did you go see those movies? Alice? Whether that's through reading feminist film journalists such as Another Gaze, or working through the BBC's mega poll of best films made by women. Women make up 51% of cinema goers, so change will surely come if we all vote with our wallets. And this is the thing that just aggravates me so much, is that these people live in this fantasized version where nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed. They're still acting like it's like the 1920s or even earlier than that. They're acting like it's like the early 1900s or the late 1800s. It's like, what are you talking about? Things have never been better than they are right now for women. For the women that are watching this video right now, I have a question for you. Do you actually feel like you are being oppressed? That there are men that are, blocking certain opportunities from happening for you, that are literally going out of their way to make sure that you can never rise to the top? Like, it's just insane, man. It's just insane. It's crazy. Like, any woman that I know in my life, they can, whatever goal they want to go for, no one's stopping them. If there's something that they want to do, literally no one is stopping them. It's just ridiculous. This type of mentality that these SJWs have is just insane. And they're just going to continue to oppress themselves and make themselves the victims. And do they really think that things are going to get better if they're going to continue to do that? Personally, I am not only doing this because I want to support women filmmakers, but because my late onset allergy has taught me that I actually need them. I actually need them. Like I said, last year alone, I can name at least like half a dozen films that came out that were good films that I enjoyed immensely, that were either directed by women, written by women, or starred women. In the last year alone. So, it's just nonsense. It's just fake outrage. That's all that this is. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.